And now for a special presentation of How to Woo Your Lady in 9 Easy Steps, as presented by Spike T. Dragon, also known as Spike T. Sparkle. Chapter 1. The Book Arrives. His belts materialized, and Spike did a little dance of joy. It's here! It's finally here! Well, Spike, that was a big one, said a voice from the next room over. What did the princess send this time? Nothing! Spike answered quickly. Twilight sees this book, and she'll do what she always does. Read it! No, I better hide it before. So, you've got absolutely nothing hidden behind your back? Twilight asked shrewdly, peering around the library corner. Spike stepped several large steps sideways, heading towards his closet upstairs. I've got absolutely nothing, Princess Celestia, he replied. Really now? Pinkie Pie swear! Spike mind dabbing a cupcake in his side with his free hand. It was true. He didn't have anything for Princess Celestia. Behind his back was something he ordered special. Just for himself, from a magazine Twilight had shelved earlier in the romance section. It had taken a while to work up the courage to look at it. Spike had feared Twilight would notice. He knew how she felt about the romance section. Big waste of time, if you ask me. Why spend your life mooning over some pony who might not even return your feelings when you could be doing something constructive with yourself? Twilight would never understand his predicament. There wasn't anyone else around who Spike could talk about this sort of thing. Thus, after seeing the magazine ad and debating for days whether or not to go through with it, Spike finally ordered himself How to Woo Your Lady in 9 Easy Steps by gentlecolt extraordinaire Smooth Fox. No way was Twilight going to mess up his first chance to read it. Anyway, Spike said on a rush, scooting closer and closer to the stairs, I better go, finish my chores upstairs. Good luck with your work, Twilight! But before his adoptive sister had a chance to respond, Spike zoomed up to the second floor of the library and shut himself away in the storage closet, using his breath to light a few candles to read by. At last! Spike hugged the book to his chest. A chance to learn how to win Rarity's heart. All for myself! The magazine guaranteed this would work, or your money back! He must be super confident in his methods. He made a little seat for himself amongst his rubber chicken, kitchen sink, and apple blanket. The candlelight made the gems on his famed bow tie sparkle against the wall. He looked at it and let out a giant sigh. Soon, Rarity, I'll be the gentlecolt you deserve. I promise. And Spike began to read. Rarity tapped her hoof against the wooden library door ever so gently and waited outside patiently. A cool breeze blew past her. She hoped it wasn't ruffling up her mane too badly. She hadn't walked all the way to Twilight's library just to end up looking like some sort of circus clown after all. A moment later, the door opened and Rarity's thoughts were interrupted. Why, hello, Rarity. It's nice to see you. Twilight opened her door wider to allow Rarity inside. Hello, Twilight, Rarity replied, stepping into the library. I'll just come to see if either you or Spike would care to join me in some gem sorting this afternoon. I'd be more than happy to supply the refreshments, of course. Gem sorting? Twilight asked. Yes, there was a bit of mishap with City Bed, Rarity explained. To come straight to the point, my carefully sorted gemstones have all become rather mixed up. First I told Sweetie Bells he was going to be responsible for sorting it out, but see how school, of course. I just couldn't wait another minute, staring at that pile of disseverment. I see. Judging by Twilight's expression, though, she didn't. So I thought I would make some sort of effect out of it, Rarity continued. I'll just give pennies over, serve some tea and a little grass sandwiches. She gave Twilight a hopeful smile. Well, unfortunately, I'm busy all afternoon, and I'm not sure how Spike will feel about grass sandwiches. Twilight laughed a bit. Bulk will ask him. Rarity turned her head back and forth, looking around the library. Yes, speaking of, where is little Spiky Wacky today? You see, he's so good about greeting guests at the door. Spike? Good at greeting guests? Twilight laughed once more. I guess with you, maybe. With me? Rarity blinked, putting on her best and expressing offense. Twilight rolled her eyes. Well, yeah, with you. At that moment, a cotton pink candy pony popped straight out of the pages of one of Twilight's larger encyclopedias. Forever! Pinkie! Twilight exclaimed. What are you doing here? Rarity had been about to ask the same thing. Pinkie Pie hopped over to the two other ponies, continuing to bounce in place when she reached them. Well, I couldn't help but overhear Rarity talking about throwing a party this afternoon. And of course, as soon as I heard, I was like, I am so there. But of course I knew Rarity would need my help in planning things, because who else to better throw a party than yours truly? I didn't even hear Rarity mention streamers, or balloons, or confetti, or candy. It's really not that sort of party, Rarity interrupted gently. More of an informal gathering. Rarity just needs some help organizing her gemstones. I'm a little busy myself. So, wait. Rarity's having a party, and now you're just too busy to go? Pinkie stepped back across her front hoofs. Talk about being unsupportive. Uh, were we talking about being unsupportive? Twilight asked Rarity, who shrugged. Red, this is being Pinkie, darling. Don't mind her. I completely understand you're busy. Thanks, Rarity. Twilight smiled at her friend. So, Rarity glanced around the library once more. They had gotten so off topic, Rarity wondered how to get back to the original question. Where was Spike after all? Pinkie and Twilight blinked at her, waiting for her to continue. At last, she considered a way to bring the question back up and make it sound natural. So, if either of you would like to stop by, feel free. Any time this afternoon would be just fine, Rarity said, deciding to skip over the Spike thing entirely. It wasn't like Spike needed to help out every time she had an extra chore to do, right? Okie dokie looking! Pinkie began to bounce more. I'll be there! Thank you so much, Pinkie, Rarity said. Now, if you'll excuse me. Have a great afternoon, Rarity. Rarity turned, giving one last polite smile before exiting the library. No one was sitting outside. Rarity's shoulders dropped. That hadn't gone at all like she had hoped. Spike's ear was pressed to the wooden door of his closet, listening intently. Rarity's voice, though muffled, had been unmistakable. But now, it sounded like only Pinkie and Twilight were left talking. Spike slumped to the floor. He'd been so engrossed in his book, he missed the original knock on the door. He spent several minutes obsessively trying to come up with the right line to say as he wandered down the steps to greet Rarity. But before he could come up with something, the snowy white unicorn was already gone. Figures she couldn't wait to see me, Spike sighed. Looks like I still got a lot of work to do. He picked his book back up and continued to read, determined to figure this romance stuff out. Thanks to years of living with Twilight, Spike had learned how to speed read at an early age. He was already over halfway through the book. Each chapter covered one of the 9 steps necessary to winning the love of your life. Spike's confidence had jumped greatly after reading the first few chapters. The first 4 steps were going to be a cinch, seeing he already did most of them. Sure, he had to refine them, but Spike felt like he could handle it. But things definitely went downhill from there. Step 5 seemed like torture, while Step 6 sounded amazing. He was sure he would somehow mess it up, and end up even worse than Step 5. Spike was almost too nervous to turn the page to find out about Step 7. That's when a knock on his closet interrupted him. Spike, you there? Twilight called on either side. Yeah! Spike said, quickly hiding his book under his blanket, and blew out the candles. He opened the door and found not only Twilight, but Pinkie Pie as well. Hello, Spike! Pinkie Pie said tearfully. What you reading? Spike took a step backwards. Reading? How did you know? He glanced back, making sure his book was definitely well hidden. Well, sure, silly, Pinkie continued. Is there any other reason you lock yourself in a closet with a rubber chicken and a kitchen sink? Spiker blinked. Pinkie, this is a storage closet. This is the stuff, Twilight explained. Oh, like you don't sit in sinks to read, Pinkie retorted gleefully. Now, come on, Spike, what were you? Oh! She bounded right past the dragon. Pinkie sets right front tooth needs something rectangular under that blanket. No, wait! Spike lunged for the apple blanket, but Pinkie got there first. The pink pony tugged the blanket aside and revealed the book below. Ooh! Pinkie went over to read the title. How the will you read it in? Spike darted forward, snatched the book from Pinkie and finished. Twilight's eyebrows shot straight up. Spike, are you actually using books to help you with Rarity? Spike's cheeks flushed. He hid the book behind his back the second time that day. No! Maybe! Oh, Spike. Twilight pulled him over and gave him a hug. I'm so proud. Me too. Pinkie squeaked. Wait, why are you proud? Spike winced as Twilight rubbed the top of his head with her hoof. I just never expected I'd see the day where Spike would turn to books to help him solve problems, Twilight explained. My little boy's growing up. I'm not your little boy, Spike struggled out of his pony grip. Now, holding the book tight against his chest. I'm not growing up anymore either. You know what happened last time. Oh, Spike, don't be ridiculous, Twilight said. Of course you're growing up. You can't stop that. What's me? Spike stamped his foot. I'll never turn into a monster again. Everyone here says that being rude and greedy is against the code of a gentlecolt. Twilight laughed. You can be such a silly dragon at times, Spike. Growing up doesn't mean you always grow bigger in size. It means you experience in personality, wisdom. Right, Pinkie chimed in. Like when I discovered not only do I like cooking, but I also like candy apples. That was just last week. You don't see me getting any taller growing giant claws, do you? Good point, Pinkie. Twilight continued, giving the pink pony an awkward half smile. Anyway, Spike, if you're really just obsessed with Rarity... Pinkie gasped and threw her hose over Twilight's mouth. Forever! Oh, wait, I forgot. We already all know about Spike's secret. Continue. Twilight rolled her eyes. In any case, Rarity was looking for some help sorting through stem stones at our shop this afternoon. I need to work, but Pinkie's going. Maybe you can tag along? Spike's heart jumped at his throat. An afternoon with Rarity? That would be amazing, yes. So I patted him on the head. So there you go. You're off the hook for chores today. Have a good time. Spike cut his book. A whole afternoon. Oh, we will, Pinkie said, slapping Spike on the back so he stumbled forward a few steps. Barely noticed, though. Alright, this will be a perfect time to try out step 1, Spike thought to himself. Rarity, prepare to be wooed. Step 1. Chapter 2. The code of the gentlecolt is simple. Be polite, be friendly, and be there when she needs you. To win over the mare of your dreams, you must adhere to this code. Compatriots may advise you to play the bad colt, but don't let them sway you. While it's true that mares do sometimes go for this bad colt, they'll never stay with him for the long haul. And that's precisely what this book's about. Winning over your mare forever, till death you part. Going for the long haul, fleecing for the stars. So while it's sometimes useful to understand what attracts mares to the bad colts, as we'll touch upon here in later chapters, to begin, the best bet you have is to be polite and kind. A good first impression will be essential, as you're sure to make mistakes later on. When a mare in question has initial positive feelings towards you, all future mistakes may eventually be forgiven. Now, let's discuss the code and gentlecolt in further details. Take note, stallions, for in this chapter, you'll learn how to leave your mare's eyes sparkling in admiration and interest from moment number 1. Spike, is there any reason you aren't touching your snacks? Rarity asked from the other side of the boutique, where she was gem soaring with Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash. Pinkie Pie was busy attempting to juggle about 7 sapphires at once, while Rainbow Dash looked like she would pretty much be anywhere but inside Rarity's shop. Anywhere, that is, except for her afternoon Cloudsdale weather community, that she only agreed to help with gem soaring when she found out it gave her an excuse to miss it. Spike's mouth watered as he stared at the bowl of the Staskari gems that Rarity had deemed food quality and not fashion quality. But no, he couldn't eat one just yet. The code of the gentlecolt simply stated that stallions must allow mares to graze first. Rarity hadn't touched anything in the little grass sandwiches she prepared for her guests. Sure, Rainbow Dash and Pinkie had easily plowed through most of them, but Spike was pretty sure that Smooth Fox, author of How to Woo Your Lady in 9 Easy Steps, wouldn't say it counted if only 2 out of the 3 mares of your company had eaten something, especially when the third was the one you had eyes trying to catch. Maybe he's got a tummy ache, Pinkie suggested for her pile of sapphires. Or maybe he's annoyed that you gave them all those loser gems to eat, Rarity, Rainbow Dash said, adding another ruby to her own pile from the mounds to the floor. Oh no, Spike said quickly, grabbing one of the gems from his bowl. They look delicious, Rarity. Rarity's eyes browned into the air. Spike, does it really bother you what gems I gave you to eat? Not at all! Spike tilted the gem to his mouth as extra emphasis, but then Smooth Fox's disapproving stare filled his mind. True gentlecolts always allow the lady the first bite in any meal, big or small. Spike spat out the gem just as quickly he jumped it in. Ooh! Are you not playing us today? Pinkie cut her host again. Good start, Spike! Spitting food out! That was genius! I'll go next! Pinkie flipped over her back and began crying walking on the floor, kicking gems left and right. Spike barely noticed Pinkie's randomness. His eyes were fixed on a gemstone dripping in his claws. Spike winced as the spots of gooey saliva fell to the boutique floor, with them inside to see Rarity's mouth twitch back. Sorry! Spike nearly fell over him, bending over and scrubbing the floor with his elbow as quickly as possible. I cleaned up! I swear It's okay, Spike, Rarity began, shaking her head violently. Oh, who am I kidding? It's all okay! The strongest bit of my floor! Rarity squealed, recoiling backwards. Rainbow Dash practically exploded in laughter. And soon Pinkie's giggles joined in, despite her being upside down. I'm sorry! Spike apologized to repeat, horrified. He scrubbed the floor even harder. Relax, Spike, Rainbow Dash said. Dusty, this is good for Miss Prancy Pants. Good for me? How does good possibly be good for me? Rarity wailed from all the way across the room, where she was currently cowering. Everyone needs some spit in their lifestyle, and that, Rainbow Dash said, grabbing Spike's arm, lifting it, unfortunately punching her health and fan approval. Spike scrambled away, shooting Rarity an apologetic look. But she wasn't watching. She had disappeared behind a wardrobe screen, closed to in every direction. Where is it? Where is it? Spike could hear Rarity mumble. Aha! Found it! A moment later, Rarity reappeared in full hazmat suit, wielding a mop on an extendable, telescoping pole. Everybody back up! She ordered, gesturing side to side with a mop. Spike, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie all scooted backwards to the far entrance of Rarity's shop, as Rarity promptly attacked the offending floor pats with the ferocity of a rampaging Ursa Major. She scrubbed the mop back and forth until the floor sparkled more than gems did. After finishing, Rarity pulled her hood back and collapsed in exhaustion. Spike's mind reeled, trying to remember if Spoon Fox had any advice or how to help your lady calm down after she just finished a round of power washing. Meanwhile, behind him, Rainbow Dash was whispering something to Pinkie, who nodded enthusiastically in return. What are you guys? Spike began, but both ponies jumped over to their gem piles before he could finish. Slurp, slurp. Rarity spun at the sound. Pinkie and Rainbow heard out from behind the gem piles, both grinning hugely. Just give a little nice lick to one of your gems, Rainbow Dash said, smoothing back her mane. Rarity's jaw dropped. Yep! Pinkie looked up. We did each one. Now you get to figure out which ones are slurp and which ones are slurp free. Rarity kneeled straight over. Spike nearly did the same. It took a moment, but the fast as I recovered, with Pinkie helping her to her hub. Careful! Spike said. He pranced instantly, approaching the Earth Pony Unicorn. Don't let her fall again!
Oh, Spike, relax, Pinkie said. I'm just playing around. I'm not playing!
Rarity jumped back, away from the pink pony. No more spitting, or sipping, or saliva of any kind! All of you, out! But, Spike's uproar in his care. Out! The next thing Spike knew, Rainbow was zooming him out of Rarity's boutique on his back scales, with Pinkie bounding along behind him. Both ponies giggling uncontrollably. Spike failed to see what was so funny. Completely messed up on how to woo your lady. He didn't even handle basic manners. Rarity would never go up for a guy like him.
Cheer up, Spike,
Pinkie Pie said. Spike kicked a rock on the ground, refusing to meet any pony's eye. But, Rarity, she's so upset.
That's what you're upset about?
Rainbow Dash laughed.
Don't get worked too up. It was just a prank. We didn't actually lift any of your gems.
You what? Spike asked, blinking up at Pegasus.
Of course not, silly. We're not meanies. It's just a little prank. We'll go tell her what we did soon.
Yeah, but for now, it'll be good for her to have to think about these things. Rainbow grinned deviously. Throw out all those gemstones in case one pile's germified, or get over herself and stop freaking out about a little bit of spit. Spike crossed his arms. Part of him wanted to march back to the boutique and tell Rarity she didn't have to worry. While the other part, well, he hated to admit it, Rainbow Dash did have a point. Sort of. Maybe a little. Maybe this would be good for Rarity. A shiny streak interrupted her thoughts, followed by a huge crash as hundreds of gemstones were magically hurled out the boutique's front window behind them.
Maybe we should go tell her now. Good idea,
Rainbow agreed. Spike and both ponies raced off in a hurry, leaving Spike standing alone, shoulders drooped. Guess I better get back home, Spike sighed, dragging his feet all the way back to the library. Twilight looked up from her book when Spike entered. She was lying on a rug on the floor, a neat stack of parchment on one side of her.
Well, how did it go?
Spike asked, rolling the hoof over the other. Could have been better, Spike answered evasively. Twilight frowned slightly. What does that mean? Spike hesitated. He wasn't sure how much he wanted Twilight to know. Then he noticed his eyes were welling up, thinking about it all. His decision made. The little dragon ran over to his adopted sister, spilling the entire story of how out as he hugged him close. What's this? Twilight patted on the back. Hey, calm down, she said. Spike, I don't think this is as big a deal as you're making it out. Rarity doesn't hate you. She just hates gooey gross stuff. She didn't seem just as freaked out when Dash and Pinkie said they got an air spell on her germs. Spike rolled his ideas in his head for a few moments. I guess. And besides, what were you really trying to achieve anyway? Isn't that first chapter all about how to make a great first impression on your mare? You've already done that, Spike. You made that first impression long ago. I did a pretty good job of it. Rarity likes you. I don't think you need to listen to chapter 1 very much. Not that manners aren't important, but don't go overboard with them, because that could just get creepy. I guess, Spike repeated once more. Seriously, I think you should just skip over chapters 1 through 4 entirely. For that matter, chapter 5. Spoon Fox may think he knows how to win a mare's heart. Twilight snorted. But I don't see how chapter 5 is going to help you out anyway. Tell me about it, Spike said. Don't know if I'll be able to do it. But no offense, Twilight. You're not exactly a romance expert, so I don't want to just throw out Spoon Fox's advice. Spike trailed off, looking at his sister. Eyes narrowed. Wait a minute. How do you know what's in each chapter? Twilight's eyes started away from the dragon. She let out a nervous laugh.
How do I... Oh, well,
You read my book! Spike accused, jumping backwards and pointing his claw at his sister. How could you?
I'm sorry, Spike, Twilight said, standing up, taking a few steps back. Let's see what you were trying to do.
Well, great, Spike harumphed, crossing his arms. Now you know every step of it. So much for respecting the privacy of my closet! Twilight sighed. Spike, I'm just looking out for you. Don't you ever start to think that Rarity may be... Oh, I don't know. You and her, in any serious way, would be... What, you think Rarity's out my league or something? Spike kicked over Twilight's pile of parchment and stormed upstairs. Fine! Whatever! Thanks for the support! He barely heard Twilight's quiet suggestion before he slammed his closet door.
At least get one, Spike! Really!
Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash left after confessing about the whole saliva incident, as Rarity would forever remember it. Her unicorn shook her mane, trying to rid herself of the icky feelings the afternoon had taunted her with, pretending to spit gems on her deed. Those two ponies were lucky she was so forgiving. At least the gem storing had nearly finished. Rarity ducked her head low, using her magic to put the final gems back in their proper containers. Sleebell suggested a month ago to keep every type of gem separate from the others had actually been a decent one. Now Rarity couldn't believe she'd ever kept her shop any other way. Rarity had taken things a step further, implemented a coding system for the quality of her gems. The highest quality were kept on her higher selves, so Sleebell would be less likely to get to them for her art projects. Speaking of gem quality, Rarity's eyes fell upon the bowl of snack gems she set aside for Spike. Why had he spat that gem out? Was it like Rainbow said, and she only offered him the lowest quality gems to eat? Was it just a taste difference? Pursuing her lips, Rarity directed her unicorn magic upwards, and opened up the top doors around the boutique. From each, she pulled out the 3 gems until she had a nice collection. On the windowsill there was an empty basket. Rarity set all the gems into it, tucking it back away in a cupboard. She took a piece of paper and one of her colored markers, writing out a label from the cupboard door. Spike's Snacks.